My parents stole my inheritance from my brother, but Grandma's secret changed everything. I never thought my family would steal from me, not after everything I'd done for them. For most of my life, I was the reliable daughter, the one who never asked for help, who remembered birthdays, who cleaned up everyone else's messes. My younger brother Tyler was the opposite, charming, careless, broke by Friday, and somehow always forgiven. My parents called it just his way. I called it manipulation with good PR. When our grandmother passed away, I didn't expect much. She'd been frail for years, but sharp to the end, and we'd stayed close. I was the one who visited every Sunday, brought her groceries, fixed her remote when she pressed the wrong button. Tyler came by twice in 2 years, usually when he needed gas money. After the funeral, my mother called a family discussion. I thought it would be about the house, the estate, typical logistics. Instead, she and my father were sitting at the kitchen table with expressions that didn't match the somber occasion. They looked almost excited. Dad cleared his throat and said, "Your grandmother wanted things handled simply. We've taken care of the financial transfers." I frowned. "What financial transfers?" Mom clasped her hands like she was delivering good news. "The accounts. We moved everything to Tyler and his wife's name. They're starting a family, and they'll need the help more than you will." It took a second for the words to land. "You moved everything?" Dad nodded. "It's better this way. You have a good job, Emma. You're independent. Tyler's still finding his footing." My mouth went dry. "Grandma's inheritance wasn't yours to move." Mom's smile turned thin. "Don't be dramatic. We're family. Everything stays in the family." I stared at them, both so calm, so certain, and for the first time in my life I realized they didn't see me as their daughter. They saw me as a resource, someone to clean up, not cash out. I asked to see the paperwork. Dad said, "No need, it's done." I left before I said something I couldn't take back. That night, I sat in my apartment with the letter Grandma had mailed me 2 weeks before she passed. I hadn't opened it. The envelope had her delicate cursive, "For Emma, after I'm gone." Inside was a note written in the same tidy handwriting she'd used on every birthday card. "My lawyer will tell you the official story, but there are things I trust only you to handle. The real account is where it's always been safe. Don't tell them. Trust your instincts, sweetheart. Love, Grandma." There was a small key taped to the bottom. The next day I went to her old bank, the one my parents thought she'd closed years ago. The manager recognized me instantly. She'd known Grandma for decades. I handed her the key and the letter. She disappeared into the back room and returned with a safety deposit box. Inside were account statements, property deeds, and a note from her lawyer confirming an undisclosed trust, one that bypassed my parents entirely and listed me as the sole beneficiary. I sat there, shaking. Grandma had known. She'd predicted they'd take everything visible and left me what was hidden. For the next few weeks, I said nothing. My parents called several times, mostly to brag about Tyler's new start. They'd sold Grandma's jewelry, liquidated the main account, and given Tyler enough to get his business going. Then came the text from my father. "Before you get mad, we need you to sign off on some documents to finalize Tyler's mortgage." I stared at the message and almost laughed. They were still trying to use me, because they didn't know they needed my authorization to release part of Grandma's estate. The trust was in my name now, and any movement of the assets required my signature. I replied, "Sure, come by tomorrow." When they arrived, I had coffee ready. They looked almost relieved. Dad handed me the papers. I skimmed them while Mom started her usual guilt routine. "You know, Emma, families should help each other. You've always been so fortunate. Tyler's been through so much." I interrupted. "You mean the 3 vacations he's taken since Grandma's funeral?" Her eyes narrowed. "You're being unkind." I smiled. "No, I'm being clear." I signed the papers, then added one more document from my own folder. Dad frowned. "What's that?" "The transfer of Grandma's trust," I said softly. "The one she left entirely to me. Mom froze. What trust? The one she hid because she knew you'd drain everything else. For a moment, the room was silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. Then Dad's face went red. That's impossible. We handled everything with the lawyer. I slid a photocopy of the legal statement across the table. No, you handled the decoy accounts. Grandma was smarter than both of you. Mom's voice cracked. Emma, this isn't right. You're taking from your brother. I'm keeping what she left for me. You took from her. They started talking over each other, but I was already standing. I looked at both of them, these people who had taught me that family meant loyalty, but had practiced only convenience. I'm not signing your loan papers, I said, and don't contact me again unless it's through my attorney. Dad shouted as I walked out. Mom called my name, but I didn't turn around. 2 weeks later, I got a call from Tyler. His voice was full of the same fake charm he used when he wanted something. Hey, Em. Long time no talk. Listen, I heard there's some kind of confusion about the estate. Mom said maybe you could help smooth things over. I said, you mean the part where they gave you stolen money? He laughed awkwardly. Come on, they just wanted to help me out. You don't need it like I do. I took a breath. Grandma thought differently. What does that mean? It means the real inheritance wasn't theirs to give. And you might want to start saving because the bank will be contacting you soon about fraudulently using restricted funds. He went silent. Then, you wouldn't. I hung up. That night, I instructed my lawyer to freeze any assets connected to the original transfers. Within days, my parents' accounts were locked pending verification. Tyler's mortgage application was denied. Mom called crying, begging for me to fix it. I said, you fixed it yourselves when you got greedy. 6 months later, I used part of the trust to open something Grandma had always dreamed of, a small bakery named after her. The first day it opened, I placed her photo by the register. A simple black and white frame. She would have loved it. The smell of cinnamon rolls, the laughter of customers, the warmth of the oven. Business took off faster than I expected. The local paper did a feature on a granddaughter honoring her late grandmother's legacy. The day the article came out, Dad showed up at the door. He stood there awkwardly, holding a paper bag of pastries from the grocery store, like a peace offering he'd bought on the way over. He said quietly, you really did all this yourself. I looked at him. No, Dad. Grandma and I did. He shifted, guilt flickering across his face. We made mistakes. I nodded. You did. He sighed. Your mother misses you. Does she miss me? I asked. Or the money she thought she owned? He didn't answer. He just looked tired, older somehow. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. When he left, he said, if you ever change your mind. I stopped him. I already did. A year later, the trust matured fully. The amount was far more than I ever expected. Enough to secure the bakery, buy a house, and still have plenty left to invest. I never told my parents the full total. I didn't need to. They heard rumors, of course, about how well I was doing, how the bakery had expanded. Tyler even tried to show up one afternoon, pretending to be supportive. My manager told him I wasn't available. Sometimes, when I'm closing up the shop at night, I think about that day in their kitchen. The smug smiles, the arrogance, the way they said, you should have been more supportive of our new family. And I can still hear Grandma's voice from that last letter. Trust your instincts. She knew. She'd known all along. So when people ask me if I ever forgave them, I say this. Forgiveness isn't forgetting what they did. It's choosing not to let it define me anymore. They wanted control. They ended up with nothing. And me? I got something they'll never have. Peace.